Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the managing director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, we're discussing the notion of a quarantine waiver. This is conceptually something that's a little different than what we've been seeing in the discussions about changes to quarantine policy here in Thailand. In a lot of the discussions, they are taking it from the standpoint of this sandbox model, where there's like these areas that folks can come to where they don't, if they've been vaccinated, they don't necessarily need to be quarantined. This model, in my opinion, looks like it might be a little bit more feasible just from a practical standpoint, but it would also, I think it would have some broader implications. In a recent article from the Bangkok Post, it's bangkokpost.com, article is titled "Mass Jabs Eyed in Hua Hin Ahead of Tourism Return." And then further, the byline is vaccinated travelers may get quarantine waivers. Quoting directly, a National Tourism Policy Committee meeting decided that major tourism provinces such as Prachap-Khirikan, Phetchaburi, Buriram, and Bangkok should pilot tourism reopening plans from October 1 to overseas visitors who hold valid COVID-19 vaccination papers. I have to tell you, I don't love the, this is just a personal note, anytime I hear, papers in the context of travel, that just has a dystopian ring to it. Quoting further, said Krod Rojanastien, a Board of Trade of Thailand, BTT, executive and president of the Thai Spa Association. He said those with vaccination papers should be able to forego mandatory quarantine. Well, first of all, vaccination papers, we've discussed this, this is, your vaccine card, and they've also discussed it in the context of a vaccine passport, which is not all that dissimilar from the old yellow fever vaccination booklet, that people would have. But long story short, they are, they're talking about this notion of a quarantine waiver, and it seems to be sort of in the context of documentation, proving vaccination history, and then being allowed to come into Thailand and not needing to quarantine. So it's a waiver in a sense. Kind of different terminology for things we've been talking about for some time. But I think it's notable that this seems to be there seems to be discussion on this in the context of having this without the sort of sandbox model we've been seeing. So it'll be interesting to see moving forward if that will indeed be the case, that they do these vaccine waivers or these quarantine waivers, I should say, rather than doing the sandbox method. It'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. We'll certainly keep you updated on this channel as the situation progresses.